shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Shout it right now, baby.
Welcome to this episode of Let's Talk 716 Sports. My special guest is Sal Capaccio, and we will be talking Buffalo Bills football. How's your afternoon going?
It's pretty good. I just got off the radio. I have my own radio show from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. So I just got off the radio, and it's pretty good. It's still too much snow out there. I hope it melts soon, but we're doing pretty good.
Do you think the Bills should upgrade their O-line during the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think you should upgrade every position, Robbie. If you can. It's hard. It's not like they can upgrade from Josh Allen or quarterback in certain other areas where they're really good, like safety. But anytime you have a chance, you should always try to upgrade your team. And I think offensive line is an area they should probably look to upgrade, this offseason in some way. But I think they did at, as far as the coach they hired, Aaron Kromer, which could help be an upgrade in itself. And that's no disrespect to Bobby Johnson, but the Bills felt, his contract was up and he had an offer to go to New York, and the Bills didn't renew his contract. So I think the Bills felt they could do better there. And now Aaron Kromer comes in, and when he was the offensive line coach back in 2015 and 2016, the team led the league in rushing both years. So I think they feel that that's an upgrade just in coaching. And then, I think they need to upgrade on the at their guard positions. So I would try. I think they're set at center with Mitch Morse, set at right tackle with Spencer Brown, obviously a rookie last year, but did some nice things. And obviously Deion Dawkins is their left tackle. But I think they should look to upgrade at guard and see where they can go from there, because that was kind of an issue for them this year at times, for sure.
Like, who do you think they could pick up at the guard position or the right tackle position?
Well, I mean, I think they have options. They like very, very flexible players. They like versatile players. So as far as any names out there, we'll see, who's going to be on the free agent market. Haven't looked into all the guards necessarily right now. Obviously, this is a very good draft for linemen, though. If you want linemen, this is actually a good draft, and they might be able to go out in there and get a couple guys that they feel can kind of come in right away and play. Maybe the learning curve hopefully wouldn't be too bad for a guy to do that. But it's always tough to come in right away and start on the offensive line in the NFL. But I think also, Darrell Williams is their right guard, and he also can play right tackle. But I don't think they need to change right tackle. I think Spencer Brown will play there. He'll be the starter next year. Cody Ford is the X factor here. We don't know if Cody Ford, if he's going to be on the team in the next year. He hasn't really had a good 3 years here in Buffalo since he's been drafted. We'll see where all that goes. But he could play guard. He could play tackle. He's versatile. We know that. Darrell Williams, like I said, is versatile. Ryan Bates is versatile. So I don't know about any names, I think, but they have a lot of options. They like to keep their options open, and they'll have some competitions.
Do you think that like Cody Ford would be going to a different team if he doesn't come back to Buffalo?
Well, sure. I mean, I don't think his career would be over if he didn't come back to Buffalo. I think the question is, would the Bills want to move on from him or want to keep him around? I think that they probably believe he can still play. He was an investment by Brandon Beane in this front office to be, a guy they traded up for in the second round. They drafted him, and I think they believe he could still play, and maybe they're hoping Aaron Kromer can tap into that. So, yeah, I do. I think if he's the question is if he's in Buffalo or not. But if he's not in Buffalo, yes, I think he'd be somewhere else because some team would still give him a chance to play.
Who do you think the Bills should draft this year? If at what position?
Yeah, I go back and forth on this a little bit. You always have to see. I think they should stick to their board and take the best available player. I don't like thinking just draft a position. That's how you wind up reaching for people. They don't become, as good of a player as you hope they would in that position. So, whoever the best available player is. But I think they should look at certain positions throughout the draft more than others, maybe, which is, I think, wide receiver and a little more speed there, a playmaker at wide receiver. I think pass rusher is still on the board for them. They need to think about that, even though they did the last couple of years. go with pass rushers and draft them pretty early. And I think offensive line as well, like we just talked about, those should be. So I think those are the three areas that I could see them and think that they should kind of look. But I shouldn't forget about cornerback. We don't know what Tre'Davious White situation is with his injury and how well he's going to come back and how soon he's going to come back. So I think that that's one thing they should think about as well, which is, looking to make sure that they have their cornerback spot solidified with, Levi Wallace is a free agent. Do they bring him back? Dane Jackson, he's coming back. He's a young player. And, they're going to probably want to look in the draft for a couple of cornerbacks as well. The question is how, early on do they want to do that?
Do you think that like the Bills would go after like a pass rusher like early, or do you think they'll go like maybe like in the 4th round?
I think anything's possible. They could take one early, they could take one later, they could take them both. Last year they took one in the 1st and 2nd round, a defensive lineman, Rousseau and Basham. But I wonder if they would be willing to trade for one, like they did with Stephon Diggs a couple of years ago, how they traded a 1st round pick to get Stephon Diggs. Would they trade a high pick, like a 1st or a 2nd rounder, to get a pass rusher from another team? So I think it's all on the table. I don't think that there's any thing that we can rule out with Brandon Beane. So sure, I think they could draft one in the 1st round. They could draft one in the 4th round. They could draft one in both the 1st and 4th round, or not at all. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason why they would or wouldn't. It just depends on who's high on their board.
Do you think the Bills could get better at like defending the run?
Yeah, that's a good question. They can. They were a lot better last year, I think, than people realized. They just had a couple of games where it really got away from them, and Indianapolis really, beat them up on the ground. We saw what New England did on that Monday night game when they came to Buffalo and just kept running the ball. And I think there was a lot of people thought the Bills, didn't do a good job at defending the run, but I think they did a better job than people realize overall. They did a nice job, and even with Star Lotulelei not available, and I don't know if he'll be back this year. I think he'd be a guy that could very well not be coming back. I think they need Harrison Phillips back. That would help them a lot. But yeah, they can be better at defending the run. However that looks, whatever that's personnel wise or scheme wise, they should try to be better than it. They were, like I said, better than people realized this year, but they still had some issues, and it showed up at times, and it really wound up hurting them. So yeah, they can definitely upgrade, to be better at the run, stopping it.
Do you think that Jordan Poyer had a good season this year?
He had a great season. He's an all-pro. He's an all-pro for a reason. Should have made the Pro Bowl too, but he didn't for some reason. It's more of a popularity contest, but he should have. But he absolutely had a great season, and he's going into the final year of his contract next year, and I wonder if the Bills would want to even add on more to that and extend him again like they did previously, because he's still playing at a super high level. He's one of the leaders on the team for sure. Him and Micah Hyde, both safeties. But I thought he had a great season. And, I think that, he's the kind of guy that hopefully he's still going to be having great seasons for years to come.
What do you think like the Bills would do with Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer if they were to like have Micah Hyde like retire after his season's over with?
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. They're not too old. They're both in their low 30s. They're still got plenty of football left. I don't think Micah Hyde's planning on retiring anytime soon, or Jordan Poyer, or going anywhere else. Micah's still got 2 years left on his contract, and Jordan's still got a year left on his contract. But the Bills do believe in developing people behind them just in case something were to happen, if they were to get injured, or, they were to let them go after their contract expired. They have Jaquan Johnson. They have DeMar Hamlin, who they really like as a rookie that came up last year. They drafted. They have Josh Thomas, who's been on the team a couple years. So I don't think we should. I don't think we should be pushing Micah or Jordan out the door yet. I think they still have a lot of football left in them, and I don't see either them retiring or moving on. But it's going to happen someday. And when they do, and when it does happen, hopefully the Bills will be in a good position to replace them.
How would you coach the last 13 seconds of a football game?
Well, it depends on what situation. I think you're referring to what happened in Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would have probably squib kicked, first of all, to run time off the clock, which they didn't do. So that gave Kansas City the ball with 13 seconds left instead of maybe 10 or 9 or 8. So I would have squib kicked it. And I don't know. I think the Bills might have wanted to do that, but for some reason the message didn't get to Tyler Bass, however that was supposed to get there, and he didn't do it. And then, for those 2 plays that the Bills gave up, I would have not rushed 4 guys. I would have rushed only 3 or maybe even 2, had more guys kind of defending the field and defending the pass, maybe even jammed Kelsey at the line of scrimmage. You couldn't really jam Hill because the way that they had the formation, but maybe had more people right there as soon as he caught it to be able to stop him from running down the field a little bit. But I definitely would have done things differently. Wouldn't have been having Levi Wallace play on the outside, covering the sidelines with no inside leverage. That happened. So someone screwed up somewhere. We just don't know exactly what happened. But obviously, I think Sean McDermott would have played it differently too, knowing now what he knows about how the game turned out. But I would have done things differently than what they did. And hopefully next time that will happen.
Do you have any questions for me? Like,
Sure, I do. What's up with the bowling pins? Are you a bowler?
yeah.
Tell me about your bowling.
I go out like 3 nights, and I bowl in like 3 different leagues with my dad and some friends.
Are you good?
I mean, it depends on the day sometimes, but
Nice.
usually I'm pretty good at it.
That's awesome. What else do you play? What other sports do you like to play, even whether it's on a team or just with your buddies?
Um, sometimes, sometimes I like to play football, like just like in the backyard, or
That's awesome. When you're playing football, who do you pretend to be?
um sometimes Trey Edmonds.
Love it. There you go. All right. But you're not as big and tall as him or long as him though, right?
No,
None of us are. No, none of us are. Who's your favorite Sabres player?
my favorite Sabres player would have to be Darlene.
Nice. My son is 8 years old and he really likes Dylan Cousins. Santa brought him a Dylan Cousins jersey for Christmas.
Oh, I liked him too. I think he's developing well with the Sabres.
Yeah, that's cool. How long have you been doing this podcast?
Um, almost, I'd say almost 2 years.
Wow. That's really cool, man. Where do you go to school somewhere?
No, I
No?
just I just I just work basically.
What do you do? Where do you work?
Um, I work in a nursing home.
Oh, good for you. Awesome, man. Good for you to help people like that. That's really cool. Do you go to a lot of Bills games and Sabres games?
I used to be a season ticket holder for the Bills.
Awesome. That's great, man. No, that's cool. I'm glad. I'm glad you're doing this. It's good. Is this what you want to do? Do you want to be a broadcaster too?
Someday.
Well, you're doing a good job of it. You're already doing a good job. I mean, doing your podcast, that's what you got to do. Get good people on and, have interviews and things like that. And, it's good to see people like you doing this who love sports that much, man. That's really cool.
Who do you think is gonna win the Lombardi Trophy on Sunday?
Ooh, I think I'm going to go with the Rams. I kind of want them to win, even though I don't hate the Bengals at all. I don't really want to see the Bengals and Joe Burrow win one before the Bills and Josh Allen. You know what I mean? So I don't really want that to happen, but I would be okay. They're okay. They're a good team to root for, but I kind of like to see the Rams win it. I'd like to see Aaron Donald win one. That would be pretty cool. I'd like to see Matthew Stafford win one. I think I'm rooting more for players than the teams. You know what I mean?
Who do you think would be like the Super Bowl MVP person?
Woo. You know what? I'm going to say if the Rams win, it's probably Stafford. It's usually the quarterback. But how about Cooper Kupp? He could be the MVP. He's had such a great year, right? He's amazing. And you know what? Von Miller was the MVP of the Super Bowl when Denver beat Seattle years ago. And I'm sorry, when Denver beat was it Seattle? Wait, who did they beat when Denver won? Von Miller was the MVP. Carolina, when they beat Carolina. And that's what I meant. And anyway, so I think Von Miller, maybe he could be a 2-time MVP. Who knows? If the Bengals win, it's going to be Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Where could people, like my listeners, find your stuff at?
I am at Sal Sports on Twitter, all one word. And of course, I'm on WGR Sports Radio 550 every day, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. till 12 noon. I host the Extra Point Show with Joe DiBiase.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I'm good. I'm good. As long as you're good, buddy. I appreciate you having me on today. I really had fun.
Thank you for tuning into Let's Talk 716 Sports. Thank you to my special guest, Sal Capaccio, and let's go Buffalo.
And look at him go! He could go all the way! Touchdown! 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 The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout.